Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new comic book video. Today we're going to talk about an interesting book I actually recently purchased called The League of Regrettable Superheroes. So what this book kind of does is it looks at some of the superheroes throughout comic book history who for various reasons never really made it big. They never became very popular, or they were very popular for a very brief time period and then either the company closed or the character was viewed as being outdated or something and was no longer being published. But it just kind of looks at some of the more interesting characters. So while we always know about like Captain America or Spider-Man or Superman or Batman, there was always a whole bunch of other characters who, for various reasons, as I mentioned, never became popular, never made it big. So this book kind of just goes through the time period. It starts in the Golden Age. Of course, when you had Superman first introduced and he became very popular, you had a lot of other companies try to jump on the bandwagon, as it were, and try to come up with other superheroes that would become just as popular and make it big. So you had a whole bunch of different superheroes and stuff appear during that Golden Age time period. And of course, some did not become as popular. You also, of course, when you had the revival during the Silver Age of superheroes, same issue. A lot of other companies trying to jump on the superhero craze again, trying to either bring back certain characters that they owned from this Golden Age, or even just introduce new ones, or trying to update or revamp characters. Of course, some worked, some didn't. And then it also just even gets all up to the modern age. We have different companies that were starting up during the comic book craze in like the late 80s, early 90s, trying to introduce new characters, new superheroes or something to try and generate interest. So this book kind of is a nice just little reference work to some of these characters. Some of these superheroes had longer time spans when they were being released. Other ones I mentioned here only appeared once or twice in comics before they disappeared forever. So it's just a really good book by author John Morris. And I thought I would mention a couple of superheroes that are mentioned in here. So one interesting one I learned about I never knew before was one called Spider-Queen. So this was a character, move that out of the way. This was a character who only appeared in three issues in the comics during the Golden Age. But the interesting thing about this character was she was the first one to use web shooters. So we always know about the web shooters from Spider-Man. Of course, Spider-Man became such a major iconic character with Marvel. But he was actually not the first one to use web shooters. It was actually this character who was the first one to do it. Though she only appeared in three issues of a series and then disappeared forever. But just an interesting little side history. Spider-Man was not the first one to use web shooters. So another interesting one I have in here is one you may have actually heard of, Legion of Super Pets. So in the 50s and 60s, DC Comics really tried to make their comic books more kid-friendly, so especially with the whole comic book scare. So one of the ways they did that was they introduced super pets. So the various heroes had different animals and something that had developed powers. So and they eventually formed their own team. So you had like Crypto the super dog and stuff like that. You had a flying Wonder Horse, a monkey, a cat. So and then of course these animals joined together to form their own team. So just a very interesting concept that of course once we start getting into more like the 70s and stuff, kind of got dropped, though Crypto has made appearances throughout the Superman titles throughout the history of the character. So, and then another final one I have is interesting is the original Super Sons. So the idea was, of course, Batman and Superman have children, the two sons who eventually follow in their father's footsteps. Originally, this was a concept that was originally developed early on. Come to find out, though, originally it was revealed that there was all just a simulation done by Batman to see what it would be like if him and Superman actually did have children. But of course, this concept actually got carried on into the New 52. And even before that, when it was revealed with the introduction of Damian Wayne and Jonathan Kent. So in all, actually, this concept was taken and actually introduced more in the mainstream DC titles. And there's actually a Super Sons series running right now with Damian Wayne and Jonathan Kent teaming up. So, but just some interesting concepts, and then of course there's a whole bunch of other interesting superheroes and stuff. You can actually see some on the cover, like Fat Man, Bozo, the Iron Man. So just some interesting and intriguing characters who appear throughout the history of comics. So that's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. And also just to remind you that on April 24th, we're going to be having Chris Rain here doing a signing of his new graphic novel, Famous the Famous. So I hope you can come to that as well. Have a nice day.